All right, this is DJ Calvin here from SlamminTunes.com, and I'm with Griffin of So Yesterday. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing all right.
Perfect. Well, I guess let's just get right into it. The band name, So Yesterday. How did that come about, and is there any kind of backstory towards it, or what's
It's a really straightforward story. Every single end of the show, people are like, oh, So Yesterday, it's a great name. It's so funny because I didn't really do anything to figure it out. I remember in 8th grade, I was sitting in the library during English class, and I was bored out of my skull, and I put my head down, and I was just scrolling through names of books because I remember in a Mike Chem interview, the way they found their name was that Mikey saw the name on a book and was like, let's add a "my" in front of it. And so I was looking at book names, and I saw it So Yesterday, and I was like, and it just kind of hit me. I thought that would be a great band name. So for like a year, I had that name in my head with a couple of others. And when we kind of formed as a band, I said, how about So Yesterday? And everyone was like, that's great.
Well, that's good. Everyone was so receptive to that right away.
Yeah, I was glad that no one said oh, that sounds like a pop band or something. No, I'm glad that people like it.
How is it that all you guys met? Did you all go to the same high school and that, or how is it that So Yesterday came to form with everyone in it?
Me and the original drummer, we met in the middle of 8th grade. I remember because I was in a band in 7th grade. I was only a singer, and guitarist moved away, and that kind of ended. I spent the entire summer trying to learn how to play guitar. And then one of my friends said, oh, Griffin, you got to meet this kid because he's a drummer. So I met him. And then, we eventually became really, really tight friends. And then come freshman year, I met Vincent, our bassist at the time. And he actually said hi. He introduced himself to me because I kind of went into high school. I was like, I don't want to make any friends. But he introduced himself to me. We were both in the same strings orchestra class. We both played double bass. So I said to him, I was like, I have a drummer. Well, he said to me, actually, from the beginning, he's like, dude, I want to start a band. And I told him that I had a drummer, so that's how I ended up meeting him. And then we eventually formed as a 3-piece, and long story with my drummer leaving. And then Vincent became the drummer, and we went a few months where we didn't play at all, and we just didn't really know what to do. And then we had our friend Anthony, who he was getting better. I mean, he was definitely not as skilled as a band teammate as us. So, but we had a couple of other choices, but eventually we decided on Anthony. He's been playing with us for the last year or so.
Awesome, perfect. So the first time you guys played live together, what was that feeling like for you?
Oh man, I mean, for me, I wasn't really. I don't think nervous was the best word to say because before I was like oh yeah, I'm gonna be a punk rock star. I wanted to be an actor. I wanted to be in musical theater. So I'd been on a stage before. And I played a gig with a band once. So, I mean, I kind of was used to the feeling. I mean, I guess I was worried about how people were gonna take our songs since, this is the first show. And I knew that my writing wasn't, as good as it's gonna be in a few years. So I was a little worried about that. I mean, I think all three of us, we were kind of just worried about what people were going to think of us because it was our first gig. But I mean, we played through the songs. I mean, it was a little awkward. We actually recorded it. We have it on my YouTube, and it's just a really freaking old video. And every song is just I stand in the exact same spot. It doesn't sound bad at all for a first gig. It actually sounds phenomenal, yeah. But we looked a little awkward, but it was fun, and everyone took it really well. And I mean, I remember at that show I met this really great band named Another Astronaut, and we became friends with them, really good friends. I played piano for a song with them at Webster Hall, but their drummer goes to their old drummer goes to college for recording, so he's actually the one that recorded it for us. So I remember at that show, it was a really big thing because I became friends with the first local band.
awesome. As you were saying that you wanted to be an actor in that, do you feel like that's kind of experience doing that and being on stage that it kind of helps transcend into your live shows and just the energy that you can get from that? Or
I think my knowledge and my experience of being an actor definitely gives me a little bit more confidence to like just kind of talk and kind of just be active. It doesn't from the beginning. I mean, in the beginning I was a little scared to kind of get out there, but even as an actor I would have been kind of scared those first times to get out there. But after a while, I think the prior experience and just knowing what I wanted to do before I went on stage, after a while I actually started to do it. I've always been into Green Day, especially. Green Day is like one of my biggest influences, and I love watching Billy Joe Armstrong work a crowd, because I think it is just like the most amazing thing when one man can control a crowd of 65,000 people.
Absolutely, he's definitely one that I always love to watch, how he interacts and how he puts on a live show. So that was actually going to be kind of my next question about influences and all that, because when I first heard some of your music online, I was thinking like, Blink-182, New Found Glory, like that kind of stuff. So
yeah. It was actually really funny because I come from a very extremely musical background. My dad's been playing guitar since he was 13 and a half. He's 63 now. So he's been playing 62 now. So he's almost been playing guitar for 50 years. He's in like a dozen bands. My mom's an English teacher, so I've always been very like eloquent in my speaking, and that's definitely helped me when it comes to my writing. You ever see Fast Times at Richmond High?
Yes, I have.
You know Mark Ratner?
Yes.
That's my uncle.
Oh wow.
so I've always I've always been kind of in that zone. It was just destined for me. It took me a while to get there.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Yeah, destined to do that.
Yeah, but I mean, my dad plays country rock, but not like the generic country. It's like the difference between like Eric Church and Willie Nelson. My dad would be closer to Willie Nelson, the good kind of country.
Yes, absolutely.
And my mom, but my mom's only 45, so she grew up in the 80s. So I grew up listening to a lot of country rock and a lot of 80s rock. But I remember the first real punk rock record I ever heard was American Idiot, to be honest. Because my mom used to sit in her classroom in 1994 when Dookie came out and play it over and over and over again in the classroom in between periods. So I mean, that was kind of the first thing that really got me into it. But it kind of took a while, and eventually what really got me where I am now was My Chemical Romance. It was hearing My Chemical Romance for the first time that really, for some reason, just shifted my entire musical taste completely. But in terms of the first record, it's Green Day. It's a lot of Green Day. Even though Green Day is definitely my favorite band and my hugest influence lyrically, it's Derek Whibley of Sum 41 that drives me lyrically. There's just something about his lyrics that just speak to me so much more than Green Day lyrics do. Especially later Sum 41 stuff. I mean, I know everyone gives Underclass Hero and Screaming Bloody Murder crap because, there's no Dave and it's just different. But those albums are just so lyrically just so deep, and they're just really, really great. So I mean, in terms of lyrics, I've always been really drawn towards Sum 41 in that sense. Blink was always a big factor in that, just because we like Blink. We didn't want to sound like Blink at all, but it's obvious that the influence is there. Same thing with New Found Glory. I like New Found Glory, but like I was never like that into it, but it's obvious the influence is there. I mean, I hate Blink now. It's like when I heard that they were recording a new album, I was like, I'm not happy about that at all. I feel like they're just gonna ruin it for themselves.
past their time.
It's way past it. I'm just kind of sick of Tom now. But I've always been really, in terms of influences, it's always been like those main pop punk bands. And then as I've gotten older, the new stuff we're recording an EP this summer, and it has a lot of Weezer in it too, which is something I started getting into like last year. And then as it just kind of evolves, it's been taking on a lot of new forms, a lot of new influences.
So with you keep finding different bands, keep getting to different things, and all your previous stuff with your mom and dad and the country and that, do you think this is the kind of music that you're going to keep recording and producing, or do you feel that that's going to be shifting with every album, every EP, everything you do?
Oh, it's definitely going to be shifting with every album, every EP, everything. It's like, I look back on the first stuff, and it's like the two most like obvious influences it's really Blink and Green Day. Those are the two obvious influences. With the new stuff, to me it's more it's like Green Day and Weezer. And then with the stuff after that, it's like it's just weird. Like, some of it's weird. Like, I mean, there's still Green Day elements here and there. There's still obvious Sum 41 elements here and there, but like, we have this one song that I remember we were sitting in the studio, and my drummer was playing guitar because he's the best guitarist out of all of us. He's been playing for actually twice as long as I have. I remember the song's in B, and he started playing the solo. He started playing a freaking like pirate metal solo over it. And I remember we were all standing there, and we didn't really. It was just perfect, but it was so out there. And now, like, with all this stuff, because, my drummer, he's the best guitarist, so he's been writing a lot more, and he has these really just interesting songs. Like, in the future, I feel like we're going to be looking back on us now, and it's going to be like just completely different.
You're saying we're going to be working on an EP and that. Is there any kind of timetable for when that's going to come out, or?
Well, right now, around the fall, like September or October, I don't want to release it this summer. I want to spend, I would say, like, maybe September or October. I kind of want to spend all the time leading up to the fall promoting the fact that we're doing it. We've been playing all the new songs at shows. So I kind of want to try and get it out there by the fall, hopefully. I mean, the last record took a year to record. It was ridiculous. This one we're trying to record in 2 days. We went from a year to 2 days. I just realized that. Wow, that's pretty.
Definitely sped it up a little bit.
Yeah, we want it to sound super raw, like how like Weezer records almost sound like they're doing it live almost.
Yes, exactly.
Like, live in like a really small room with just the four of them. That's what we want it to sound like. We want it to sound like we're just doing it. We're just going through it like it's a rehearsal, because that's when we feel like we sound the best, is during rehearsal, when we can all look at each other and really focus on what we're playing and be completely in sync as a band.
Yeah, I get that chemistry going like that.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, we want it to sound like we're going through a live play, but we're really good at it.
So back to the ukuleles. Is there going to be any of that on any new music?
I've been getting so much more into playing my ukulele. I have 3 really, really awesome songs. Do you want to hear one? It's like 30 seconds long.
Yeah, sure.
But it's a song that I recorded. I even put it up on my SoundCloud, and I post it on my Facebook every once in a while. I'm just like, listen to this. It's this really clever 30-second ukulele song called I Like You. So, when we spend time together, it's a likely endeavor that I wouldn't be lost without you. It's a time if I miss, live a life any bliss, so I wouldn't know what to do. Secrets passed around the table, I just think that I should tell. Hold my hand, it's just us two. Oh, I just want to screw you.
Beautiful poetry right there.
Right?
That has to be on the next recording. I'll definitely pick up 5 of those.
Cool. Okay, then I should definitely put that on something. I always post it. I'm like always showing people. I'm like, look at this ukulele song that I wrote myself. It's just a stupid little thing, but I love playing. And I have like 2 other ones that I'm hoping that I can find somewhere to just kind of throw them on.
A little bit of a backing track of some kind, or
yeah. Even if we post like a single for any of the songs on the new EPs, I can make that freaking stupid 30-second ukulele song side. I can make it a B-side, and everyone would love it.
There you go. Yeah. Out of the tracks from the last album you released, which ones were your favorite, and why are they your favorite?
Oh man. Well, originally we scrapped 2, and then it was 14. And just recently I made it because we're redoing 1 for the new EP. We're redoing another for like later stuff, because I just thought that the song itself was, even though it had the energy of the first album songs, I thought lyrically and like just message wise, it needed to be like lived somewhere else, like in somewhere where it'll get more notice. So I decided that I want to redo that one. Then I took off another 2 songs because I thought they sucked. So now it's about 10 songs. My favorites would definitely have to be I love I Can't. It's this slow, really killer power ballad. I remember the way I wrote it. It was after this really bad breakup, the first breakup with this girl of many. And I remember I didn't write a song for a month, and at the time that was actually a long time for me. I remember one day I got like so upset. I opened my book and I wrote like 7 verses, and then later I picked my favorite 3, and then I wrote a chorus like later on, and eventually the song, we finished it. It took a while, but I've always, like, every single time I listen to that song, it's the lyrics and the energy and the power that I'm putting into it because of how I felt about the song and how I felt when I was even recording the vocals themselves. It was such a powerful song, and it still gives me chills to this day. My other favorite would have to be When I'm Gone. It's like this. It's a second track, and it's such a Green Day song. It like hurts.
That's exactly what I thought when I heard that too. I was like, that's
such a Green Day song, yeah. But it's like, to me, it's like the Green Day song of the record. Like there was a few Green Day songs of the records, but I took them all off. The one that we're redoing is very Green Day-esque, but we're gonna do it better. And the other 2 that I took off were extremely Green Day, but I didn't do it well. And this one is like, to me, it's just the Green Day track. It's just, to me, that song defines all my freaking influences during that time, and I love it because the guys hate playing it. So every single time I'm in the studio and they're like, what song should we play? I'm like, let's play When I'm Gone, and they're like, no.
Anyone but that one.
anyone but that one. So I say a different song. They're like, no, I don't want to do that one either. It's a little hectic after a while because we're trying really hard not to get sick of the new songs that we're not going to be playing for like a long time live. Like we want to actually enjoy them in the future when we're playing them live, so we don't want to overkill it.
Bring yourself out on it.
Yeah, so it becomes like, oh, I don't want to play that song because I don't want to end up hating it. So we just kind of try and stick to our set list.
Yeah, the first one that comes up on the Reverb Nation site is the Please Don't Go. So that was the first one that I heard, and it was just like, that. Yeah, that's the song. So that's why I made it first, because that was the one we were playing first for sets for a while. And I always thought it was like, if you're gonna hear any song on that album first, it's just the power of that song is just perfect as an opener. It gets everyone right into it. So
yeah, it gets everyone right into it, and then it goes straight into When I'm Gone, and then She's Like a Serenade, which is that kind of like little break where Like it's cutesy, and it's not like super like involved. It's just like a regular like Green Day song.
Yeah.
And it goes in, and then I love making the albums flow, and I worked really hard on making this record flow well. But I mean, it also becomes a problem when like you have like 5 songs in the key of C on the record.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I try and make it flow well. But Please Don't Go is definitely like the best opener that I could have possibly ever wrote.
Do you feel that like having a strong online presence with like the Reverb Nation page, all those kind of pages, and social media is important for, you know, up and coming band? And
yeah, 100%. I mean, we recently moved everything over to Bandcamp. So now if you go on the So Yesterday page, Twitter, it's all Bandcamp. But yeah, I think having an online presence is extremely important. I mean, I just got into 5 Seconds of Summer, and the fact is that, you know, everyone's been giving them shit, but I think it's great. I think it's so great for the pop punk scene to have a band like this getting into the mainstream. But the fact is they got famous by doing covers on YouTube and just doing them well, and someone saw them. And so I've always thought it's just good to have a great online presence. Having that online presence is really what gets us out there. I remember my ex-girlfriend, she came to visit from Florida, and she told me that on the way to the airport, she was driving, and all of a sudden she heard from this other car, Selling Yourself Short play, and she rolls down the window. She's like, holy shit, that's my boyfriend's band, and this dude's like, I love these guys. But that's all the way in like Florida, where we live. We're a New York band, and it only gets out there because of online.
Well, I just got a couple left here for you. What was the last show that you saw?
So last show that I saw, Reggie and the Full Effect at Webster Hall. That was like the coolest fucking show in the world. Because first of all, it was Reggie and the Full Effect, and James Dweez is like one of the 2 godfathers of emo rock. I mean, it's him and Matt Pryor, the Get Up Kids. They started it all for like the Fall Out Boys and the Taking Back Sundays and the My Chems and the Panics and the Panic at the Discos, you know?
Right.
So I mean, I was at a show seeing like just a pioneer of the emo scene. And then in the middle, freaking Frank Iero, My Chemical Romance, comes out because he's really friendly with James, because James is the pianist or was the pianist of My Chem. So I mean, that was like such an insane show because it was Reggie and the Full Effect in the studio Webster Hall. So it was really just so fucking small. But it was like everyone was just great. The band was great. All the people, the fans were great. Everyone had such a great energy. No one got in each other's face. And the best part was that afterwards, I got to meet Frank Iero. I got a picture with him, and I got him to listen to So Yesterday. And then afterwards, I met James Dweez, and that was just awesome.
All right, man. Well, that's pretty much everything that I have. It was fucking awesome talking to you, man. Thank you for taking the time out for this.
Yeah, no, that was like a really great interview. That was really, really awesome talking to you.
There's nothing here you're living for. I'm just another guy whose heart you break and then you cry. Come crawling back, you're just like me, but we're not who we want to be. The mirror's who we want to see. I've locked the door and lost the key when I'm gone, 'cause the innocence can never last. It's been long since I felt your grip placed in my hand when I'm gone, 'cause the innocence can never promise it won't go so fast. I can't just sit and wait for another girl that I will hate. Come crawling back, I'm just like you, but I don't know what I'm to do. It all keeps coming back to you. Another night, it's just us two. When I'm gone, 'cause the innocence can never last. It's been long since I felt your grip placed in my hand. When I'm gone, 'cause the innocence can never last. Our innocence will never last. When I'm gone, 'cause the innocence can never last. It's been long since I felt your grip placed in